everyone, Mitch coming in from the Commanders Core studio. Welcome to the show. So on today's episode, I've got an interesting one for you. I'm going to be talking about cards that feel like they should be banned, but aren't. Let's jump into them. Now, to reiterate, I'm talking about cards that feel like they should be banned, not cards that I necessarily say should be banned myself. I'm just talking about, in general, cards that are absolutely on a different power level, like Sol Ring, where you see all these other cards that are banned, and you're like, wait, Sol Ring's not on there. Yeah, it's kind of like the poster child of the format, so it makes sense that it isn't banned in that way, but when it comes to power level, it's insane. And yeah, if they were to ever, go, okay, we're just starting from scratch, we're redoing the format, we're starting off with a clean ban list, Sol Ring, if it didn't have that history with Commander, it would be on it, I guarantee it, because it is an artifact for 1, it taps for 2, it is insanely efficient, like overly efficient. Again, an efficient mana rock in Commander typically is cost 2, taps for 1. This is the reverse. This is basically like 4 times as efficient, essentially. The mana rocks you're hoping to get out of like half the amount of mana you put into them, this is giving you twice. It's also a combo engine in some ways too, with certain combos, tight spell, tyrant, etc. But yeah, it is a card that, again, feels like it should be banned. It's not, and yeah, again, for good reason, with it being the poster child of the format, and also in, I believe, every single pre-con we've ever gotten, so yeah, it's never gonna get banned. Next up, Gaia's Cradle. Now, this is one that, well, first of all, is insanely expensive, like nearly $1,000 for this card. A legendary land, taps for a green for each creature you control. This is green's version of Tolarian Academy, and yet Tolarian Academy is banned. This one is not. Now, am I saying this is on the same level of Tolarian Academy? No, but it's also on a much different level than, say, Sarah's Sanctum. This is a card where, yeah, again, it's not tap, add a blue for each artifact you control, but hey, tapping add a green for each creature you control is incredible. Obviously, with artifacts, they're slightly more abusable, slightly easier to get an insane amount of mana right away. This, you can get an insane amount of mana right away as well, just not quite as much, hence why it is not banned. But yeah, again, it is incredibly close to being banned, I would say. It's one of those that's like teetering on the level, essentially. Like, if it ever got banned, I would not be surprised, but there'd obviously be a lot of upset people out there who are like, I just spent $1,000 on this one card and now it's banned. My goodness. Yeah, I'm not saying it's going to get banned. I'm just saying, if you look at it compared to other cards out there that are actually on the ban list, you're like, yeah, it's pretty similar to Tolarian Academy, and you could see if this got banned at some point. Moving on, Smothering Tithe. Yeah, we're hitting all the big ones today. An enchantment for 4 mana in white. Whenever opponent draws a card, that player can pay 2. If they don't, you get a treasure. And again, we don't have to explain what the treasure is anymore these days. Back in the day, it was like, yeah, what's a treasure again? What does that do? You tap, you sacrifice, you get mana. Cool. Anyways, this is an absurd card. This was so pushed when they made it, and like their explanation was like, well, we're trying to help mono white get better. And it's like, okay, well, if you're going to do that, this should have been like mana cost of white. Okay, cool. You helped mono white because it's impossible to cast in any other color combination, basically. Not impossible to cast, but still. They didn't do that. They made this ubiquitous, basically, where, again, it's super easy to cast in any color combination that just happens to have white. So, yeah, it's a push card. It is a card that is also incredibly obnoxious. Literally, when any opponent draws a card, which happens so many times throughout the game, you're going, will you pay the 2? Will you pay the 2? Will you pay the 2? I mean, that's already reason enough for this to be banned, just because this is obnoxious. That being said, of course, it's OP. It is so overpowered, it's not even funny. Again, opponents drawing cards, having to pay 2 mana is an insane amount of mana per card to pay. You can't do it, and because of that, the player that has this card is going to steamroll opponents with value because they're going to be getting so many treasures. On top of that, you cast one wheel, you basically just win the game, because you go, okay, I cast a wheel, again, windfall, whatever, essentially. Everyone draws, say, 7, cool, alright, can everyone pay, let's see, 14 mana each? No, you can't. Therefore, I'm getting basically 21 treasures, and I have an insane amount of mana super early in the game, and I win. And of course, you can chain wheel after wheel after wheel after wheel after wheel with this and just go, oh yeah, wheel. I've got 125 mana. Cool. Yeah, I just cast a spell and I win the game. Cool. Yeah, it's an insanely pushed card. Okay, but I gotta bring up the OG annoyance, which is Rhystic Study, and of course, a card that Smothering Tithe definitely took a page from the book of. An enchantment for 3 mana in blue. When your opponent plays a spell, you may draw a card as the player pays 1, written in the old school way, essentially way back in the day. On 2000, when this came out as a common. Yeah, again, in a one-on-one scenario, this card is not all that good. When it comes to Commander, though, multiplayer, it's insane. And again, insanely obnoxious. Are you going to pay the 1? Are you going to pay the 1? Are you going to pay the 1? Yeah, again, just because of its annoyance, maybe it should be banned because of that. But yeah, it is a card that, again, if you compare it to other cards out there that are banned and the amount of value that they give, and then it's definitely one that could be on the line of like, hey, yeah, that is like the best draw engine in Commander. Definitely up there. I mean, and it's also one of the most annoying cards out there. Again, it is a card where you just literally get this down and you're getting free value throughout the rest of the game. Whether that is, yeah, again, your opponents can pay the 1, sure, but you're taxing them, essentially, right? You're playing a taxing effect, which typically are no-nos in lower, power groups or just more casual groups, right? They're playing a bunch of stacks effects, essentially. Not exactly the friendliest thing. But this is an exception because it's like, well, it's a card draw engine. Anyways, this is an insane amount of card draw for 3 mana, and if it's not card drawing for you, it is also just taxing opponents to take away their resources, so it's either abundance of resources for you or, a depletion of resources for your opponents. It's an insane card. Should it be banned? It's up to you to decide. Next up, let's move on to a creature with Seedborn Muse. A 2/4 spirit for 5 mana in green. Untap all turns you control during each of the player's untap step. Again, it's kind of interesting when you talk about cards that wouldn't be problematic in a one-on-one scenario. Again, like Rhystic Study, Smothering Tithe. If it's one-on-one, sure, it's not a bad card. I mean, Rhystic Study kind of is-ish, but it's not a bad card, but it's not all that great. This one's okay, it's okay again. It's all right, on my opponent's turn, I get all my stuff. Cool. The problem is, you got 3 opponents, meaning that basically with Seedborn Muse, you get kind of 4 turns in a way. Now, unlike Prophet of Krufix, which is banned, it doesn't give you the ability to go, okay, flash speed, where you basically just literally have, again, with Prophet of Krufix, creature specific, 4 turns, basically, for the price of 1. Now, this one, you are getting mana for all those turns if you have any kind of activated abilities you can do. If you've got a commander that's got a mana sink in it, you can actually just dump mana into it each time. If you've got a bunch of instants, great. Flash, great. Okay. Vedalken Ori, you get all the things, right? It is insane just how powerful this is. And again, Prophet is banned. This is not. There is a distinction between the two, but it's a pretty thin line in my opinion. And again, Prophet doesn't give you all of your resources. This one gives you all of your resources every single untapped step. So yeah, there's definitely an argument out there to be had for this one at some point being banned. I don't think it will be, but yeah, there is an argument for, hey, you know what? Yeah, it's kind of an unfair advantage to have basically 4 turns for the price of 1. Moving on in a different way, one that there was a lot of debate around when it first came out if it would be banned or not, Drannith Magistrate. Now, this is a 1/3 human wizard for 2 mana in white. Your opponents can't cast spells from anywhere other than their hands. Very specific in its wording, but yeah, keep in mind that that does include the command zone, because yeah, your commander is not in your hand. So basically, this is I shut down your commanders, and sure, all the other spells outside your hand too, so that's good as well. Any kind of flashback effects, any kind of effects are playing off the top of libraries, impulse draw, I think it's not impulse draw, but impulse playing off the top. Other kinds of things as well, future sight, I guess. Regardless, being able to essentially do that, you cannot anymore. But yeah, this shuts down, most importantly, again, commanders. But it is, again, not a balanced card. It is a card that says, all right, it doesn't affect me, it affects my opponents. It is one that typically doesn't see play, though, in, again, casual games, lower power levels. It's more of a EDH card, which is completely fine then, because, yeah, if it goes in and play there, that's fine. There's no hold apart over there. There's, just no rules over there. Go play whatever you want, okay? With actual casual, it probably at some point, in my opinion, would be banned if it did start to see a lot of play in casual, but because it doesn't, because players aren't playing it, because it is kind of the faux pas of oh yeah, don't play stacks pieces, except for Rhystic Study and Smothering Tithe, which are kind of stacks pieces-ish, in a way, technically, because they are kind of taxing a bunch. Okay, Drannith Magistrate, though. it is one that, yeah, you might be like, oh, why isn't that banned? And kind of other, like, it's taxing effects too, stacks effects too. Yeah, those are more like, well, because they're not kind of invading casual really in all that much of a way, they're not banned. So that's fine. That being said, and this is just because I've got a bone to pick with Tergrid. Tergrid, God of Salt. Yeah, you're one that's like, why aren't you banned? A 4/5 God with Menace for 5 mana in black. Whereupon sacrifice a non-token permanent or discards a permanent card. We put that card from a graveyard on the battlefield under your control. And also on the backside, by the way, you have infinite mana, you just win. Tergrid's Lantern, Ledger Artifact for 4. Tap, target player loses 3 life unless they sacrifice a non-land permanent or discard a card. Pay 4, untap, Tergrid's Lantern. Again, literally, if you just have infinite mana, congratulations, out of the command zone, the back side of your commander wins. Yay! More importantly, though, the front side, most players build around this. Obviously, it's just a super salty, super easy card. It is a card where it's like, all right, yeah, we had this like other giant Eldrazi that cost an insane amount of mana, and we took inspiration from that, and we basically chopped its mana cost in less than half. Yeah, it betrays. It sounds like, oh yeah, just 5 mana. Also in a color. We'll include discard too, sure. Yeah, it's insane. It's insanely easy. It's insanely soul-inducing. It is a crazy good, easy to build around, easy to just decimate your opponents and make them have a really bad time kind of a commander. And it's one where it's like, oh, okay, well, like, casual groups won't allow that, right? Because it's kind of like, oh, that kind of a build where it's, like, kind of obnoxious. No, yeah, it's like one where people are like, yeah, you should be okay with me playing this. And it's like, there's definitely some playgroups out there that are not okay playing against this because it's just so obnoxious. Tergrid, yeah, again, this is maybe just me having a problem with Tergrid itself, but yeah, you never should have been made. Bye. Next up, another overpowered black card. We've got Necropotence, an enchantment for 3 mana in black. Skip your draw step whenever you discard a card. Exile a card from your graveyard. Pay 1 life, exile top card of your library face down. Put that card in your hand at the beginning of your next end step. Life is an abundant resource in Magic. Well, not in Magic, but in Commander. Again, yeah, in Magic in general, it's like, oh, I'm at 20. Okay, yeah, then you've got to be a little more careful with something like this. Like, still a very good card, but a little more careful. But actually, in Commander, you're like, I've got 40 life. I can do whatever I want with it. You know, I could just go like, all right, I play this early on in the game. I'm looking for a combo piece kind of thing. You know, I'll just pay 30 life, whatever, sure. Okay, I'll get 30 cards. Yeah, being able to just exchange life for cards is insane. It's crazy town. And it's also absolutely crazy that Wizards, when they did the first round of like, you know, these are game changer cards, and they forgot to put Necropotence on there. It's like, what are you doing? This is one of the most powerful cards in Magic by far. The amount of card advantage you can get out of it for a very little cost. Again, sure. Yeah, life. All right, skipping your draw step. Discarding cards and they're gone. Okay, whatever. Yeah, but you can go 1 life, 1 card. Cool. Yeah, cool. It's absolutely crazy. It's insane. It's such a good card, and one that, again, when you compare it to other things that are banned, you're like, yeah, I could see this one actually being banned too. Next up, Mishra's Workshop. Now, this is one that's like, you never see it in the wild, because again, like, Gaia's Cradle every now and then you might see even like a gold-bordered version of it, or someone who's had one for such a long time, but Mishra's Workshop is like 2 to 3 grand. It's insane. A land that can tap for 3 colorless, but only for artifacts. It's a super old card. Again, it's literally like old templating, never get reprinted, all these things. It's insane. So here's the thing with this one. Yeah, when it comes to lands, like, lands tap for 1, right? Or like a Gaia's Cradle, again, which maybe should be banned still, conditionally taps for mana. There's no condition to this, other than that you can only use the mana for artifacts. But again, sure, build your deck around artifacts. Cool, alright, that's crazy, powerful, artifacts are insane. And then with this one, it's like, okay, cool, yeah, is there any downside? Does it, like, you know, not untap? No! Oh, do you, like, get dealt any damage? No! Okay, you just, tap it for 3. Yeah. So turn 1, you're just like, yeah, okay, play in an artifact for 3. Yeah, it's crazy. And of course, untap effects help with lands too as well. Very few lands out there even tap for 2. I mean, there's downsides again, like a bounce land, all right? A bounce land, another land vector, and you actually go like kind of even on the resource basically in that way. Or like Temple of the False God, which in my opinion is a terrible card, but still. You need 5 lands for it to actually tap for 2. This is just like, no, right away, tap for 3. Crazy powerful card, again, crazy efficient. Probably if they restart the format, it would probably be banned. And finally, the Tabernacle at Pendrell Vale. Yeah, another card that's like, Yeah, you never see it because it's so incredibly expensive. And also, if you're playing a casual game of Commander, someone better not play this card. Legendary land, all creatures now require an upkeep cost of 1 in addition to their upkeep cost they have. If the upkeep cost for creatures not paid, the creature destroyed. Basically, hey, at the beginning of upkeep, you gotta pay 1 to save your creatures, each creature, essentially. And if not, you sacrifice them. So this is an insane card where it's like, all right, yeah, this land is literally just destroying opponents' resources, basically. I mean, yours as well, but if you're not playing creatures, you're playing like a control deck, you don't really care about having creatures in play, it's just a taxing effect that is absolutely crazy powerful that has come on a land. It is a card that, again, is one of those that, like, people aren't clamoring over it to be banned. If it saw a lot of play in casual, yes. It never will. It's too expensive, number one. Number two, it's also a stacks effect that players in casual just, like, say, like, yeah, we're not okay with those, except for Smothering Tithe and Ristic Study for some reasons. But anyways, we're not okay with those, so don't play them. But again, if it was the playing casual, it's definitely a card that could be banned. And again, when you look at the ban list, you're like, yeah, that makes sense, that makes sense, that makes sense. And then not this one? Okay, all right, it's fine. And with that, this episode is coming to a close. Comment below with your thoughts on it. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.